Welcome to this week's live video. I'd like to talk about what was accomplished last week in the Trump and Xi meeting in South Korea. The White House has issued a fact sheet. China's Commerce Ministry has issued a statement. And earlier this week, the Chinese ambassador to Washington, Xie made some comments as well. Well, guess what? There are some significant differences. First of all, the overall tone. Trump called the meeting amazing. He rated it a 12 on a scale of 10. And he said that many decisions had already been finalized. China, for its part, was sounding a lot less enthusiastic. Ambassador Xie said earlier this week that it is a, quote, pressing priority to follow up on the consensus, not a trade deal, a consensus, in order to reassure both our countries and the world economy and to come up with concrete actions and outcomes. So, what about some of the specific differences? Washington says that it will suspend its plans for the 50% rule or the affiliates rule. That would have dramatically expanded the number of Chinese companies affected by sanctions from the 1,300 or so Chinese companies now on the entity list to many of their subsidiaries, taking that number up to as many as 20,000 Chinese companies. They say that in exchange for this, China will suspend for a year its plans announced October 9th to dramatically expand controls over rare earths. The U.S. also said that Beijing would issue general licenses for rare earths, and that would mean, quote, a de facto removal of all the controls that China has imposed on rare earths since 2023. Well, China did say indeed that it would suspend the October 9th plans to dramatically expand controls over rare earths and also over products containing rare earths. But it said absolutely nothing about earlier restrictions. Remember, there were restrictions, an outright ban imposed in December of last year. And then there were the export licensing system for rare earths put in place by China in April, which led to so much pain for U.S. companies as China slow walked approvals for rare earth exports to U.S. companies. So, what's the difference between what the two sides are saying there? Um, the What China is saying does not preclude the possibility of tremendous pain again going forward for American companies if China decides to slow walk export approvals. The U.S., by contrast, is saying problem solved. It's clear sailing now, and we'll get all the rare earths we need. Big difference there. What else? The U.S. says that from now on, China will negotiate directly with American chip companies, including NVIDIA. China said absolutely nothing about the chip industry at all. Do not think that the omission means that China is no longer concerned about access to advanced semiconductors. China is completely focused on ensuring more access to advanced semiconductors from the U.S. And indeed, I think sees it as a quid pro quo, where they will only provide less controlled access to rare earths if they get more access to advanced semiconductors. You can expect that issue to be raised frequently going forward. There are also different readouts on the issue of TikTok. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has said that a deal or a sale of TikTok will be reached in the coming weeks or months. And China did not say that. China just said that it would continue with working with the U.S. to try to resolve outstanding issues related to that deal. Finally, the Chinese side fired a warning shot over the bow of the U.S. earlier this week when Ambassador Xie warned about China's four red lines. What are China's four red lines? It's Taiwan. It is democracy and human rights, China's political system, and China's development state. Ambassador Xiafeng said, if the U.S. Brings up those issues, it risks torpedoing the trade deal going forward or hurting the trade deal, a potential trade deal going forward. Ambassador Xiafeng also warned that any further conflicts over tariffs, industry, and technology could lead to nothing but a dead end. That's it for this week. Tune in next Thursday at the same time. Thanks.